To tell you the truth, I'm not really scared of much. I've lived in Kauai, Hawaii my whole life, raised by two very independent and adventurous parents. So I guess it comes with the territory. Spiders? No problem. I just scoop them up and let them loose outside. Heights? They're fine. In fact, I love cliff diving. Even sharks are fine. I've seen them when I was surfing and I just try to keep my distance. But now, after our trip a couple summers ago, now I do have one huge fear. Hi, my name's Eddie and I'm 17, and I'm going to tell you the story of the one and only time in my life I have ever been really, truly afraid. So, like I said, my parents are both crazy adventurers, and they raised me in a rural area of our island. That meant I spent my whole childhood outdoors, jumping, climbing, swimming, and pretty much just running around in our tropical jungle for hours on my own. My parents actually supported that. I mean, they'd never expected to have a child, and I was their only kid, so they were cool with me being independent and learning how to fend for myself. Not to say that I didn't spend any time with them. We did a lot of hiking together, surfing, of course, and best of all, sailing. We owned a big old sailboat, and it was my mom's pride and joy. Everyone always assumed it was Dad who was obsessed with boats, but nope. He just loved Mom enough that he didn't mind the other man in their marriage being a beautiful sailboat she jokingly called the Hunk. We took the Hunk out as often as possible. A lot of times it was just day trips, but sometimes we'd go overnight. And every month or so, we'd go out for a week or two. It sounds intrepid, and it kind of was, but I loved it. I was homeschooled, so they just brought me along, setting sail whenever the weather looked good. In fact, my story actually happened during one of those trips. It was our longest trip yet. One of my mom's friends had recently sailed from Hawaii to Tahiti. It took him a little under 3 weeks. He'd had a great time, so of course he recommended it, and we were totally on board with going. We crammed the boat full of food and supplies. The old sea skippers say, if you're going a week, pack for a month, and we always took that advice to heart. We'd never been stranded anywhere, but you know, it pays to be prepared. We set off on a beautiful sunny morning with our German Shepherd Skipper standing watch over the bow, barking loudly at the fish swimming around the boat. Apparently, he didn't realize we had enough food for him, too. It was smooth sailing right from the start. Mom's the technical guru on the boat, and Dad does all the navigating with his map, compass, and all that usual stuff. The snorkeling was incredible, and I even got to swim with a couple of these enormous but gentle sea turtles. Mostly, though, I just lazed around in the sun, reading or napping below deck. Every once in a while, just to make some noise, we'd all start belting out some songs. There was nobody around to hear us but the fish, so why not? It's probably worth mentioning that Tahiti, well, French Polynesia in general, is considered to be really, really safe. There are definitely places in the world that Mom would refuse to sail in, like most of Africa is completely off limits. But although the weather can sometimes be rough around Tahiti, there's no real danger of crime on the water. That's why, when Dad spotted another boat on the horizon, he wasn't concerned. Skipper, though, stared at it hard, as if he could sense something that we couldn't. Mom looked at her sidekick, knowing that he was a very smart boy, and silently disappeared below deck. The other boat was moving toward us quickly and noisily. It was a motorboat, not a sailboat, so it was moving way faster than the Hunk was. But it also looked pretty run down, like it hadn't seen the inside of a repair shop in years. And as I got a good look at it, I got a tingly, bad feeling. Dad and I just looked at each other. That's when Mom came back up on deck, carrying her emergency bag. She didn't open it, but I knew what was in there. A spare radio and knives and stuff in case of a shipwreck, and a gun. Mom insisted on having one when we were in international waters, just in case. The boat came at us faster. Dad steered the Hunk away, trying to make a wide pass around the other boat, but the other boat kept coming right at us. If you've ever been on a boat, you know boats don't ever navigate towards each other. They stay far away from each other. The people on board just smile and yell, "Hello," to each other. My hand started to shake and my stomach tightened into a knot. What was happening here? I was really afraid. Our sail caught a gust of wind and we started to speed up. but the speedboat just kept heading straight at us. Suddenly, Mom pulled the gun out of her bag and held it high, really high, so it was obvious she was holding a gun. But she didn't fire. They were close enough to hear us now, so Dad started yelling into the radio, I don't even know who to, describing our exact location and what the boat looked like. Suddenly, just as quickly as they had approached us, the motorboat changed direction. Instead of coming straight at us, they flew right past us, so close that as they passed, I looked right into one of the men's eyes. He had a menacing, angry stare that I'll never forget. Muscled and tattooed, they each had a gun, and I don't even want to think what they were planning on doing with them. After they were gone, Mom put down her gun and slipped her arm around my shoulders. In silence, we all turned and watched as the boat disappeared into the horizon. Even when they were completely out of sight, it took the longest time for any of us to say a word. We just kept standing guard, jumping at the sound of any unexpected seabird. We'll never know exactly what made them turn around, but I guarantee you, when they saw Mom holding up that gun, Dad yelling on the radio, and then saw a ferocious dog barking at them, they had second thoughts about whatever it was they had planned. After we landed, we talked to the Coast Guard and the police. They both agreed there hadn't been a report of any kind of criminal activity in those waters for hundreds of years. But we know what we saw. Mom is completely certain that they were pirates, although God knows from where, and that they were cruising around those waters in their motorboat searching for vulnerable vessels to rob. We got lucky. The Hunk is huge and looks like there must be more than 3 people on it, and Mom and Dad's quick thinking made us look more threatening than the pirates. We were nervous to get back on the ocean after that, but only for a while. Sailing is such a big part of our family life that we could never give it up. But I have to admit, it ruined my childhood innocence thinking that all strangers have good intentions out in the water. Even though those guys never said a word to us, and because I'm pretty sure Skipper was a big part of the reason why the pirates ran, we adopted another dog, a huge white mastiff. And get this, he got this black spot around his eye, so we named him Pirate. Mom, Dad, Skipper, Pirate, and I still do a lot of sailing, but we mostly stick to the Hawaiian Islands. I'm telling you our story because I want you to use it as a warning, to make sure that if you're ever going on any kind of adventure, even if you feel like you're completely prepared, make sure you have more than you need. Have protection, and never go alone. Bring a friend, a parent, or even a very good dog who knows danger when he sees it. Well, that's my story of encountering pirates. Have you ever encountered something that really scared you? Share it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my story, subscribe to our channel for more episodes. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.